Hey there, everybody. I thought today we should talk a little bit about embracing lasting change. As we roll into the new year, as December ends for 2023 and January for 2024 begins, most people at many New Year's Eves make all these resolutions. And the reality is, most of us don't stick to them past February 14th. It's just really hard to make lasting change happen. So here's a couple tips to really make it happen this year for you. First, break down your goal. So many people say something like, I want to lose 50 pounds. Well, just so you know, if we lose a pound a week, which is a healthy way of losing weight and lifestyle change, that actually will hopefully keep you on track for a true lifestyle change of a healthier body. We really are only looking at losing a half a pound to a pound a week, sometimes two. But the real dance of weight loss is often lose a few pounds and then 1 week you go up 3 pounds. So after losing 2 pounds, you actually gain a pound, then you go down 4 pounds, and then you gain another pound. It gets really, really frustrating for folks, which is part of why they have such a hard time sticking to it. Because the lifestyle change that it takes to truly get through that process, as well as just really understanding the process that your body goes through in any sort of physical change pattern. We all have hormones that are different. We respond to the natural world differently. We respond to different foods differently. And we respond to the same foods differently at different times when we're eating them. As we go through that process, there's going to be days where we're up a little bit, and then there's going to be days where we're down. And we just need more of the days where we're down on weight to actually make it successful. But if you need to lose 50 pounds, you're looking at somewhere between a year to 18 months to 2 years worth of time without some really big changes in your life. That's a long time to commit to a change. And as a result, many people struggle to stay accountable and to stay on track without some sort of help and somebody along the way. So the first thing to do is really break it down. Break down your big goal, that 50 pounds, into say 10 pounds. And then work at that 10-pound goal. When you get there, then we go another 10 pounds. We do that 5 times and you've got what you need. The other big thing you almost always need is some sort of accountability. Some of us are great at using an app and tracking ourselves. We set a schedule, we stay on track, we go for it. It becomes very motivating for us. Other people need a buddy, they need a friend, they need somebody they call, they need somebody who shows up at the gym with them. Others need a professional, somebody to really dial in the system, dial in the program, make sure they're on track, make adjustments as we go. All that stuff is really important. And so think about what you really want to accomplish in 2024, not just goals you want to reach, and not from a deficit mindset of there's something wrong with me or there's a bad habit I need to break. Instead, think about it as, how am I going to thrive? So 1 year, 365 days from today, how will I be thriving? What will be different in my life? How will I be different? How will I feel different? All of those things are really key to helping you stay on track, stay accountable, and to break your goal down small enough to give you just the next step, then the next step, then the next step through the course of the year. When we're breaking down goals, we want to look at them in a SMART formula. This is an acronym for a goal-setting strategy that has a ton of research behind it and has been proven time and time again to be very effective for lasting behavior change. So first, we need to make that goal specific. If I say I want to get healthy, I have no idea what that means. And if I'm at the dinner party and there's lots to choose from, there's probably quite a few healthy options. Is it healthy for me or not that day will be determined by a lot of other things. So we want to make sure that we're very specific about the goals that we set, and then we want to make sure that they're measurable. So if I say I want to get healthy, that's not really measurable. What does that really mean from where I am today to where I want to be? So we want to give it some sort of objective measurement. And that can be hard for a lot of us. Some of our stuff is really subjective. I want to feel better in my body. That's very subjective, because I might be very healthy and still not feel well in my body today. Maybe I have an illness, maybe I ate something that doesn't register with me, maybe I didn't sleep great, who knows? But if I don't know what I'm aiming for, it's going to be very hard to stick to it. So you want to be specific. Instead, say, I will feel healthy in my body when A, B, and C happen. Or I will lose 10 pounds and I will weigh this. Or I will lose this many inches, or some sort of objective measurement that keeps that I want to be healthy vagueness, that sort of abstract concept out of your goals. If it's a running goal, say I want to run this many miles in this amount of time. And then we have a starting point, here I am today and where I want to be. That's what we're looking for in these objective measurements. Then I want to make sure that it's attainable. If I say I want to run an ultra marathon this year, I don't really run that far. I never have. So the idea of me being able to do that within a year, sure. Do I have the time to commit to that? And quite honestly, in my lifetime right now, no. I don't have that opportunity right now because I can't get up that early. I can't run that much per week. I can't spend all that time making sure that my diet is dialed so deep in for that training schedule because of my work schedule, because of my family schedule, and other obligations that I have. So make it something that you can truly attain. It doesn't mean I will never be able to run an ultra race, but this year, probably not. It wouldn't be attainable. So I would be setting myself up for failure rather than success. Then make sure it's realistic. Can I do that in my physical body? Do I have what I need to make that happen? Would I be spending a bunch of money I don't have on gear, etc.? Things like that. Is it really a realistic goal for me right now in my lifetime? Maybe it's not at this moment in my life and the way that my lifestyle is. And if I want it to happen in my lifetime, I need to start putting resources aside, whether that be time, attention, energy, money, etc. I need to be making sure that I'm putting that stuff aside and getting ready for and planning for to make that goal a realistic goal for me. And then I want to make it time sensitive. So if I say I'll run an ultra sometime in my life, great. I can do that. I can do whatever I want. I can make whatever I want happen. But the reality is, if I don't give it some sort of time, that want just is a wish. So people want things all the time. They say, I want a better relationship. I want to communicate better. I want to raise at work. I want. But without action behind that want, what you really have is a wish. And wishes are great. They're wonderful. They set our stage. They give us vision. But unless you're willing to take some sort of accountable action for what you want to happen, all you're doing is creating a wish. So first thing would be pick your goal. There's your wish. This is what I want. Then break it down and make it something that's actually attainable over a period of time. And as I spoke about just a moment ago, make it something that you can break down into smaller goals. So you can do step 1, step 2, step 3 throughout the year. And in 365 days from now, who are you going to be that's really different, and how will you be different will then be automatically put into those time chunks to make those SMART goals attainable. Then you'll also want to make sure that you are creating some sort of a plan. Now, for some of us, writing things down is super critical, and we really need pen to paper, we need hard copy, we need to post it all over our house, we need whiteboards, we need all those sorts of things. For others of us, we can do it on an online journal. We could use an app. I have an app that I really love that I check things off of all the time, and I love the way that visual is for me. When you put your plan down in paper, you get it out of your head, but part of what that does is uses different parts of your brain to do the physical movement of the writing, of the typing, of the seeing and the visualization. Maybe you color code it, etc., to light up as many parts of the brain as we can around that information. And then when we have that in front of us, it becomes much more concrete. So I can say I want to lose 10 pounds as my New Year's goal. And in a year from now, I'm going to feel X, Y, and Z because I've lost this weight. My clothes are going to fit like this. I'm going to be wearing these sorts of things. I'm going to be walking like this and feeling confident in my body, etc., etc., etc. When I write that stuff down, it becomes much more concrete. This is why vision planning and vision boarding can be so important to our goals, because part of what we're doing is not only are we going through things and finding images, whether we're doing that on an app like Pinterest or whether we're doing that again with hard copy and magazines, I'm going through and I'm finding these different things, but I'm lighting up all these parts of my brain that then give my brain a place to focus. And when I give my brain a place to focus, I now have things that allow me to let go of any opportunity that's not there for me, that's not part of this goal, and really see with clarity those opportunities. So if it's a new car that I want, and I put that picture of that car in front of me every day, I will start to see that car out in my community. I'll start to see that color, that make, that brand, that model, etc. I might never have noticed how many there were around me every day before, but now that I've given my brain something to focus on, it's looking for and trying to find all those places that match that category. And that happens with our goals. So if I say I want to drive a new car, if I want a new job, if I want to make $1 million, if I want to lose weight, if I want to fill in the blank, what you're doing when you give yourself a visual around that, and you give yourself something for your brain to eliminate all the extra noise, is you're helping with your attention and your focus, which means that you will find opportunities you didn't see before, even though they might have been always all around you. So if you want to try this out in a fun exercise I often give my clients, is I just ask them to go look for blue cars today. It doesn't matter what kind of car it is, just see how many blue cars you can count. This is a great experiment in recognizing how well your brain is at finding what you tell it to find. So keep this in mind when you're thinking negatively. If you're telling yourself how awful you are and what an idiot you are and what a piece of shit you are and all that stuff, all you're going to see over and over and over are lots of examples of that. Even when the good stuff is also mixed in there, you're going to have a hard time seeing that, because what you're going to be focused on is what's wrong, which is why I want you to think about your 2024 from a thriving mentality. How will I be? What will it feel like when I've reached this goal, when I feel good in my body, when I've got positive thinking going in my mind, when I'm looking for all those great things that are around me, when I'm being grateful and feeling that gratitude every day, which we know sets you up also for very successful behavior change. Those sorts of activities are going to move you from surviving in a deficit poverty mindset. Whether you have a bunch of money or not, you can still live in poverty, to a thriving mentality. One where there's a ton of abundance. Even if you have no money and financially you're poor, you will be much more rich and you will have much more abundance if you're living from a place of thriving. So those are really important when you're setting yourself up to try to figure out your plan. How do I want to be? What's the transformation I'm going to make? How am I going to break it down? How do I make it measurable, attainable, specific, etc.? Put it on paper, make a visual board. Those are all very, very key strategies for behavior change and keeping you on track even when things get boring and mundane. Which brings us to the next point of change it up. So I might have a goal of, say, running 20 miles. So if that's my goal, this time next year, I want to be able to run 20 miles. Today I run 5. I've got to figure out how to increase my endurance for 15 more miles this year. Break that down into smaller increments, do it over time, that's all great. At some point, I'm going to get pretty bored. So at some point, I'm going to either be bored with my workout, I'm going to be bored with my trails, I'm going to be bored with my environment, I'm going to be bored with my shoes, I'm going to be bored with my podcast, I'm going to be bored with my music. The list could go on. So you've got to change it up. From time to time, I'm going to have to run a new route. I'm going to have to go in a different direction. Maybe I run the same route, but I go backwards. I'm going to have to run in different places. So maybe I actually take a trip to do some 5Ks along the way, give myself some energy, give myself a new focus, a new goal that's short-term, getting me to that long-term goal. Changing it up along the way is super, super important. Sometimes that's just as simple as a playlist. Sometimes that's just as simple as changing my shoes and wearing a different pair of running shoes. It just depends on you, and it will depend on where you're at in the process. But to be successful over time, we have to keep it motivational. And to be motivated, I must feel inspired. And to be inspired, I can look outside of myself, say looking at like Pinterest or listening to a podcast or reading a book or talking to a friend. But I can also look inside myself to know, again, how am I going to feel? What am I going for? What's the important piece behind this why of this goal? And feel that inspiration. When that inspiration begins to rise from inside of you, you will find the motivation you need to get out there on that cold morning and run, on that afternoon when you'd rather be watching TV, in that evening after work when you're really tired. You'll find that motivation every day if you keep your inspiration high, which means you have to change things up so that you stay interested and attentive to whatever it is that you're doing. So those are some strategies to get you started in the new year and get you really making changes happen in 2024. So Enjoy. Have so much fun creating the life that you want and letting go of all that stuff that no longer serves you. Here's to a great new year for you, and I hope you thrive.